If you are within 5 to 10 years of retirement, your strategy matters more now than it ever has before. The final stretch before retirement is what we call the retirement red zone. And for individuals over 50 with significant retirement assets, this is where small decisions can have irreversible consequences. My name is Jennifer Ramos, Managing Partner and Financial Strategist at Arcadian Wealth Management. And today, I want to explain why the red zone is less about growth and more about structure. For most of your career, time was your greatest advantage. You could tolerate market swings. You could recover from downturns. You could stay aggressive. But something changes in your 50s. Time compresses. Volatility becomes more dangerous. And retirement income is no longer theoretical. It's approaching. The red zone is typically the last 5 to 10 years before retirement. And what happens during this window often determines whether retirement feels controlled or fragile. Let's assume you're 58 years old with $1.4 million in retirement assets. You plan to retire at 63. If the market declines 20% next year, your portfolio drops to $1.12 million. That's not just a temporary decline. If withdrawals begin during or shortly after that downturn, you may permanently impair your income base. This is called sequence of returns risk. It's not about long-term averages. It's about timing. In the red zone, timing matters more than performance. One poorly timed market cycle can change the income you live on for decades. At Arcadian Wealth Management, when someone enters the red zone, we stress test everything. We model what happens if the market declines 15 or 25%. What happens if inflation remains elevated? What happens if healthcare costs accelerate? What happens to the surviving spouse's income? What happens when RMDs begin? Many people with strong portfolios discover something uncomfortable. Their retirement is built for growth, not durability. And in the red zone, durability matters more than upside. There is a distinct difference between an investment portfolio and a retirement income system. In your 30s and 40s, accumulation is a priority. In your 50s and early 60s, income architecture becomes critical. That does not mean abandoning growth. It means building layers. Layer 1, market-based growth. Layer 2, protected income. Layer 3, tax strategy. Without income layering, you're relying entirely on market withdrawals, and markets are not obligated to cooperate with your retirement date. Let's address something directly. Annuities are often misunderstood. They are not designed to beat the market. They are designed to support retirement income. When used appropriately and in the right proportion, certain annuity structures can protect principal from market loss, provide lifetime income guarantees, reduce sequence of returns risk, stabilize cash flow, support spousal continuation. This creates an income floor. That income floor changes how the rest of your portfolio behaves. Because when essential income is protected, you no longer need every dollar exposed to volatility. This is about risk management, not chasing returns. For some individuals in their late 50s or early 60s, an accumulation annuity strategy can serve a specific purpose. It can lock in prior gains, reduce exposure to large pre-retirement downturn, create optionality for future income riders, protect principal during the final accumulation years. This is not about moving everything. It's about repositioning strategically. The red zone is where preservation begins to outweigh aggressive growth. There's another factor that begins to surface in this stage of life: required minimum distributions. At age 73 or 75, qualified accounts force withdrawals. For larger accounts, those distributions can significantly impact tax brackets, Medicare premiums, and Social Security taxation. While RMDs may still feel distant in your early 60s, planning for them begins now. Because decisions made in the red zone directly affect the magnitude of those required withdrawals later. The earlier tax diversification begins, the more flexibility you retain. We recently worked with a 61-year-old executive, retirement assets approximately $2.1 million. Strong saver, disciplined investor, but 92% of his assets were exposed to market volatility and fully tax deferred. When we stress tested his portfolio against a moderate downturn, within 3 years of retirement, his projected lifetime retirement income decreased by nearly 17%. That wasn't due to poor investing. It was due to structural vulnerability. After reallocating a portion of assets into a guaranteed income component and introducing a phased tax diversification strategy, his stress test results improved substantially. He didn't need more growth. He needed resilience. The final 5 to 10 years before retirement determine everything. Not because you need to outperform the market, but because you need to stabilize the outcome. Growth builds wealth. Structure protects it. The red zone is not a time for drastic change. It is a time for strategic refinement. Waiting until retirement to address income design limits your options. Addressing it during the red zone expands them. If you are between 50 and 65 and within a decade of retirement, this is the stage where clarity matters most. At Arcadian Wealth Management, we offer a retirement red zone review. In that session, we stress test your portfolio, evaluate income durability, analyze sequence of returns exposure, review RMD trajectory, identify income layering opportunities. This is not about replacing your investments. It's about reinforcing them, because retirement isn't simply about how much you have. It's about whether it will last. If you'd like to evaluate how resilient your current plan is, click the link in the description or click the button below, answer a couple of quick questions, then you'll have the opportunity to schedule a conversation with our team. The red zone is not about fear. It's about precision. I'm Jennifer Ramos, Managing Partner at Arcadian Wealth Management. I'll see you in the next video.